Hi my loves, welcome back. Today I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Glam palette, and if you guys have been here for a while, you do know that when the Natasha Denona Gold palette came out, I bought it because oh my god, I was so in love with that I'm still in love with it. I think it's beautiful. I'm probably gonna rebuy it when there's another sale, but I did buy that palette and I had instant regret. I was like, how can I spend this much money on a palette? But now I am so far deep down the makeup addiction rabbit hole that I think, you know what, I might just do it and have no regrets. So today I'm gonna be trying out this gorgeous palette and seeing if it really is worth it, what my thoughts are on it, and this would be my very first full, well, it's not the full, these are the smaller pans, but this would be my very first full Natasha Denona palette that I hopefully don't return. Hopefully it works very well and I really like it. I am not a huge fan of cool tone shades, but I'm thinking of probably getting her bronze palette and then in my eyes seeing both of them as like one big palette. Like I feel like they have colors that complement each other, and also I love these mattes. Now real quick, I want to address the big elephant in the room, especially since this is a trying on review, my thoughts situation on this palette. I think the names are pretty shitty because these names, you can only apply these names if you are a person with light skin. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm gonna do a close-up for you guys and you'll see that this taupey shade right here is called Crease, which obviously can't be used in the crease by a lot of people because it is a very ashy taupey light shade. And then Transition, like no one with skin, okay, can wear that shade Transition. Like not even I can, and I am pretty white, so I honestly don't know what the hell she was thinking with these shades, because I want to think that like, oh, they're just names she gave it to like be, you know, give her the benefit of the doubt. But the thing is, like if you really look at it, like they're all like this. Like Lash Line is okay, but like look, Smoke, this is not smoky for a lot of people. Like this is a transition shade or a crease shade for a lot of people. I don't really know what was happening in that sense, but I don't agree with those name shades, so I just want to point that out. I think that's very bizarre. But aside from that, I think the colors are very beautiful. I think the mattes are really pretty. The only one that I think personally, like when I look at these colors, the ones that I'm like meh about is this Transition one. I feel like that gray toned bone white is very pretty color for a bag, but not so much for a shade on my eye. I don't know. Okay, so I already have my Fenty primer on my eyelids. I do not have any other makeup on. I don't even have my brows done. So we're just going right into this. So we're going into this shade right here called Blend. This is my first review of a Natasha Denona palette. Well, no, actually I'm lying. I did a review a really long time ago of one of their minis, or not the minis, one of the, you know what I'm talking about, the one that it's like 4 or 5, which I still have her. It's the one that it was like berry toned and it had golds in it and stuff. Now with a brush that's a little bit tighter, this is a Morphe E17. I'm going into Smoke. It's this shade right here. Okay, now I'm gonna use the brush I had previously and blend those colors together. So far, these shades are working really nicely. Oh, I love how these two shades look blended in together. They look so nice. So I'm going in with Lash Line, which is this smoky, deep gray. It's like a ash gray, and I'm going to concentrate that on the lash line and create a bit of a angle here. These eyeshadows are so pigmented. I'm gonna use the same brush that I used for the second shade, and I'm going to smudge this outer portion right here. Even with the softest touch of my brush, the color goes on. I don't have to push it in back and forth. I just tap and the color deposits so beautifully. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. These are my thoughts here. I'm thinking of doing this slightly over that smoky dark gray that I have there, just slightly, not all over here, because I want those matte shadows to show, but right here. And then in this inner part, I'm thinking of putting this shade right here called Inner Corner. I'm thinking this might work. I think it'll look really, really nice. So we're gonna start with this shade right here, which has tons of colors in there. When I really look at it, I see a lot of purples in there and silver. It looks really nice. Ooh. Ooh. Whoa. That's so pretty. And this is actually not a shade, a brush for this, for picking up product. This is a concealer brush. But I found it there and I was let me get this little flat brush and try it out, and whoa, holy moly, that's beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's so pretty. It looks like such a, let me get my finger and put it over it, a glossy gray color. Oh, that's so pretty. Now I'm going into this shade right here called Inner Corner. Ooh, that feels so nice. Oh, that is so pretty. You know, back in the day, I used to put my eyeshadow on with my finger. Yes, everything. Every single eyeshadow was just like, I would just blend it in with my finger. And I'm not even gonna lie, blending stuff in with your finger, it looks really nice. Underrated. Getting a little bit of that shade called Blend and just popping a little more right here on the top. Trying not to disturb that shimmer because I don't want the shimmer to get all over up here and in my brow bone, but just so that the color doesn't get lost in the sauce. This turned out beautiful and so smoky. Very pretty. This, once I put lashes on, it's going to look perfect. Because whenever I have makeup on with no lashes, it looks so wonky and so weird. So we're going into Smoke first. I'm going to concentrate that really tight on my lash line. Okay, I'm going into Lash Line, which is that deep smoky charcoal gray, and I'm going to lightly pass that color under, and I'm gonna stop right where the center of my eye is. Even the smallest amount of product goes such a long way. I'm going to put on the rest of my face. I'm gonna have everything linked down below for you, and then we'll be back so we can kind of chat a little bit about this baby. Okay, I put all the rest of my makeup on. Like I said, I'll have everything linked down below in case you're interested in anything else that it is that I'm wearing. But this palette is so beautiful, you guys, and it works so effortlessly on the eye. I really enjoyed this palette. I like it so much, and I used the majority, I used the majority of the matte shades. I used these three, not these two. I used these three right here, and they all worked so well. They blended out so pretty. They blended together so pretty. They didn't look gray or ashy or anything like that, despite the fact that this is a cool toned palette, and sometimes cool toned colors can look a little ashy and turn gray when blended with two or more colors. It can look a little funky, and that did not happen with this palette. I think the color story is beautiful. I used two shimmers out of all of them. I used these two right here, and they work so well, like you guys saw in my little tutorial that I had. it just went on even with a concealer brush that I just grabbed. They are so reflective, like they have a lot of light reflecting properties in them. It's really obvious. I just have one soft box on me right now, and just holding my hand like this, the center of all of those eyeshadows is beaming with light. And look at this one, this gold right here. Look at that. You see how reflective that is? That's very, very beautiful. I understand fully that Natasha Denona, oh, that's beautiful. Natasha Denona palettes are expensive and not attainable by the majority of people, because it's, you know, it's a lot of money for a palette when you could use that money for something else, especially now during COVID and during the pandemic and all that stuff. But if you do have the means to purchase it and you're like on the fence about it and you like the color story, I think this is definitely worth the $65. I really like that she has come out with the smaller pans. So she's basically made more affordable palettes. Her other palettes I think are $125 each, and they have much bigger pans than this. I mean, not a lot bigger, but they are bigger than these, and that is expensive for a palette. You know, $125 is a lot to dish out for a palette. Even when Sephora decides to have its once a month rinky-dinky 20% off sale, it's still a lot, right? It ends up being $100, and $100 you can use for so many things. But if you do have the money, or you do want to have like a little splurge and you're into collecting makeup, then I do think that it is worth it. But like I said, I don't want you to feel like you need to have all these things that are always being pushed out, all these products that are always being released. There's always 100 things coming out, and you can definitely find a dupe for this. I know the ABH Sultry palette, it has a similar color story, and ABH has good quality eyeshadows. And the Sultry palette, even though it's limited edition, it was $45, and you may be able to find it somewhere like in an outlet store, or maybe ABH still has it on its website on sale. I'm not too sure. So that wraps up my Natasha Denona Glam palette review. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you want me to try out. But yeah guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.